to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sophia and this is Sophia Sees Beauty, where we talk about all things beauty and makeup. Today on Sophia Sees Beauty, I'm very excited. I'm gonna be doing a full review of this new Tom Ford Extreme Badass Collection Lava Lustre Quad. So if you guys are interested in seeing swatches, a demo, my final thoughts, whether or not I think this is worth it, please stay tuned. Before we get started, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. I have content both here on YouTube and on Instagram. I will link my Instagram handle here and also in the description box below. I make videos and content for luxury beauty and high-end beauty. If that interests you, please consider subscribing. I have a lot of really great videos coming up over the next couple of weeks, and we would love to have you here. Also, if you like this kind of content, please remember to give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel and helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Let's get into the product details. So this particular palette is a part of the Tom Ford holiday collection. I think there was a little bit of confusion whether this was the holiday collection or the last collection that came out was the holiday collection, but this is a holiday collection from Tom Ford. Nonetheless, I purchased this from Beautylish for $89, which is in line with all of the other quad prices from Tom Ford, if I'm not mistaken. I was told that this is exclusive to Beautylish and the Tom Ford website. At the moment of me filming this, this is still available on the Beautylish website. I don't see it available on the Tom Ford website though. You guys let me know, is this ever available on Tom Ford? Is it coming out another time? Did it sell out? I'm not really sure, but you can definitely go on Beautylish and purchase this right now. As a part of this Extreme Badass collection, there was this quad, another quad called Metal Lust, I believe. Yes, Metal Lust, and then 3 lipsticks. I did not pick up any of the lipsticks because they were sort of like metallic-y finish, and none of the shades seemed like they would work for me. So I am going to be focusing just on this quad in this review, and then I will be doing another review for the Metal Lust quad. Now, I bought both of the quads the day that they launched on Beautylish. I think that maybe they're having a bit of a supply chain issue with the other quad because I was emailed by Beautylish and they told me that they are not going to have those ship out until like beginning or mid-January. So when that does get to me, I will do a review of that one. So stay tuned for that. So what's interesting about this quad is that supposedly this is a new formula from Tom Ford, and I will read to you guys the description that they have on the Beautylish website. It says, Extreme Badass Eye Color Quad from Tom Ford presents 4 full coverage multi-chromatic eyeshadows with a uniquely sensorial high impact finish. This intense array of nuanced and neutral shades offer both color shifting glitter and classic powder formulas with smooth textures that melt luxurious into skin. So what I'm hearing here is that we're supposed to have multi-dimensional and multi-chromatic colors in here. Now, as you can see, maybe on my eyes right now, I've already filmed the demo and I already have an opinion on this already. So we're gonna test this out and we're gonna see, you know, is this worth $89? Are these actual multi-chromes? Are these high impact? You know, are they easy to use? We're gonna test all of that out, guys. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. I'm gonna get into swatches and the demo. Okay, party people, let's do a little unboxing here so I can show you guys all of this goodness. So this is the box that it comes in. It's kind of your typical beautiful silver box, and it says Tom Ford Extreme on it. And it does say X2 Lava Lustre on here. So I'm gonna take this out, and we've got just the typical like little, what is this? Like a microfiber sleeve that this comes in. And when I take that off, this is the packaging. I actually think that this is, let me step back a little bit so you can kind of see the effect there. This is really, really pretty. I think this is super pretty and giftable. I love how it goes from like this silver into this like beautiful snowy white. Really, really pretty. And then the back is just the same. And it has the typical opening like this, all right? We have a nice mirror, which I'm gonna cover up so we don't blind you all. And this is the palette. I'm taking these off, but it does come with these little tiny, you know, to me, rather useless little applicators here. For the purpose of this video, I'm not going to be using those applicators. I'm going to be doing a demo with regular brushes and with my finger, but just showing you guys those applicators. And then this is the palette. Maybe let me turn up my lights a little bit so you guys can kind of see what that looks like in the pan. So yeah, the packaging is pretty typical of most Tom Ford palettes, but it does have this gorgeous like ombre effect. So that is the unboxing. Let's get into the fun part now. Let's do some swatches. I'm just going to go around this way. I'm gonna swatch them on my hand and show you guys all these amazing colors. First, I'm gonna do this color. So this is like a beautiful sort of corally orange with a gold shift, and I will post close-ups of all of these so you guys can see them in the natural light. The next color I'm going to swatch is this gold one right here. So this one looks like a true gold. This one does not have a duochrome shift, at least to me it doesn't. So that is just like a true beautiful shimmering gold. And this formula does feel very smooth and easily swatchable. I only dipped in very lightly with my finger, and this is what we got. The next color that I'm going to swatch is this champagne one right here. All right, and so this one looks like a true kind of pink toned champagne with a little hint of silver shimmer. It looks like a true beautiful champagne color. The last color I'm going to swatch is this reddish toned one here at the bottom. And this last one, I would say the difference between this one and the first one that I swatched is that the first one here is definitely more of a lighter orange, more of a coral tone, whereas this one is definitely more redder in hue. They do both have a gold shift, so I would say the two red ones are both duochromes with a gold shift. This one is definitely a true gold, and this is a true champagne. So that's how I would describe all of these colors. And let me just show you all of them in natural light so you can see the shifts between them and just the full effect. Now for the most important part, let's put these shadows on our eyes. I don't think that I would put any of these shadows in the crease. These really look like something that you would put more so on the lid and the lower lash line and in the inner corner. So I'm actually gonna start off with just kind of like a little bit of a base in the crease so that we can have something to work with. And I have done basically all of my makeup in preparation for just putting something on my eyes so you guys can see the full effect as we do that. I'm gonna start off by putting the Tom Ford Terra bronzer in the crease with a Refer number 15 brush. So that's just gonna give us a nice little base before we go in with these super shimmery, sparkly shadows. I was worried that these shadows were gonna be maybe a little bit too glittery, but they do seem extremely metallic and smooth. I love that it's called Lava Lustre because they really do look like, you know, like molten, shimmery, metallic goodness. And I'm gonna try going in wet as well. So let's kind of play around and just see how these perform. I'm gonna try and use all of the colors so we can see how they do. So I think I'm gonna do one look on this side and maybe another look on this side so we can really test out every single shadow in this palette. I'm gonna start off with going in with, what do I have here? A Sonia G soft shader brush, and I'm gonna go in with the gold color first. Okay, so this is going on pretty nice. I am tapping off my brush. I would say that this gold, if you guys can see it, it looks a lot lighter and softer than it does in the pan. So if you guys were thinking that this was gonna be kind of like more of a dark gold, I think that this looks a lot lighter in person, personally. And it's going on very smooth. Is it anything groundbreaking? I don't know, guys. Like, you tell me. It is like just your basic gold. And this shouldn't be a very difficult color to formulate. I think it looks pretty. I think it looks pretty. It's not super glittery and it has a very nice tone to it. Let's go in with this orange duochrome shade, and I'm gonna go in with the Sonia G Builder Pro. This is just another sort of like soft little precise shader brush. And we're gonna put this on and see how it looks. That's pretty. I can definitely see the shift. I can definitely see the shift. I think it looks pretty nice. I'm gonna go in with my finger now on that same orangey shade right here. We're gonna see how that looks. I'm just gonna kind of layer it all over the eye. Wow, guys, do you see that shift? That is really lovely. I am getting like a bunch of fallout right here. So this might be the kind of palette that you have to maybe do your eyes first, which I thought would probably be the case, but I think for science, it's good to just test this normally. I am not using any eyeshadow primer here, and I already did my full face makeup, and I'd like to try out eyeshadows that way because I think for an $89 product, like I shouldn't have to worry too much about product going anywhere, but I do realize that this is a very like shimmery and glittery palette. I think that this is a very pretty orange. I think what you're going to find is that this doesn't look as dark on the eye as it does in the pan because it has that gold shift. So I think it actually does layer very well with this gold because it just sort of goes from like this orangey duochrome into the gold. So I think it layers on very, very well. I don't think you're going to be able to like really build up any depth with that because it has a gold shift. If it had a darker shift or like a black base or something like that, maybe you could be putting it into the crease or on the outer eye and building up some depth, but I don't think you're going to get like any depth with this, and we're probably not going to get the same for that either. And I'm just kind of blending these again with that crease brush that I used in the beginning, just to kind of get everything to be nice and seamless there. You can also add a little bit more depth again with your bronzer, and I think that that just kind of blends everything together because when you go in with two really high shine metallics, I think it's kind of hard to get them to blend seamlessly together. Sometimes it might be easier to just go in with one of these all over the eye and then maybe go in with a little bit of, you know, a bronzer or another color to add some depth, or to use this as like a high shine topper after you've done an entire look. I'm now going in with a Sonia G Pencil 1, and we're gonna put this gold shade all along the lower lash line. And I'm getting a lot of fallout. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe if I turn my lights down. Can you guys see all of the glitter that's like all over my face? And I am being ultra careful. I wonder if that would be better if I wet my brush. I'm not really sure, but I don't think that for the price of this palette, you should need to wet your brush personally. So I'm just applying this, and this is like it's not really picking up all that well, I would say, on like a dry pencil brush. I really don't like the way that this is looking, guys. Like I have glitter everywhere. I want this to be smoother. Like I want this to go on super seamlessly and blended, but like maybe this just isn't meant to go on the lower lash line. I don't know. I'm gonna get some misting spray and we're gonna try this wet and see if it makes a difference. All right, I've got a little bit of face mist here and I'm gonna go in with a different brush. This is the Sonia G Flat Definer brush, and I'm just gonna mist that. And we're gonna go in with this. And I'm gonna go in with this gold shade here. And we're gonna see if this makes a difference. And I have the lights down so you guys can kind of see how that, okay, that's a little better. That's definitely better. I feel like it was like chunks flying before. And it's just like, does that give anybody anxiety when you're like trying to blend stuff and like there's fallout everywhere and you're like, oh no, stay on my eye. All right, that's very, very pretty. I'm gonna go in and show you guys what that looks like. Yeah, when we put that in the center, just wet. I do think that it adds a little bit more intensity. See that? That's nice. And let's go on the outer corner again with the orange color right here. I don't know, what do we think, guys? I still think that there really shouldn't be as much fallout as there is. And I will show you guys close up at the end, just by the window, how it looks like once I'm done, so you can really get the full effect of the shades and the level of fallout. Let's try something a little bit different this time, and let's go into this red duochrome shade with a wet brush all over the eye. Okay, so I wet my brush. Okay. That definitely goes on a lot smoother when you wet your brush and gives you a little bit more intensity. But it's still not that intense. Like these colors are very, very light. Like look how sheer this is. Look at how pigmented this is in the pan, and then look how sheer this is on my eye. Like that is not, you know, these reds, like this kind of reminds me of like a typical Natasha Denona color or a typical Pat McGrath color in some of her palettes, like in the Bronze Seduction palette, I believe it's called, Mothership number 5. She has that like really bold, beautiful red. And I know that this is a duochrome, so it is a little bit different, but like this is not that pigmented of a color. And I'm kind of worried, like if you had darker skin, what would this look like? Would this even like show up on your skin? It has a very beautiful effect to it, but this just seems like more of a topper to me. This just doesn't, like I was hoping like Lava Lustre, like I want this big, bold, like oozy lava red goodness on my eye, and I just feel like I'm not getting that, guys. I think that the gold was really pretty, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with that champagne color next, but like I'm trying to build this up with a wet brush and it just doesn't work. Let's go in with our finger. Okay, so we can build it up a little bit with the finger. Okay, that looks really pretty now. That looks a lot better. I'm a lot more pleased. I'm a lot more pleased. This kind of like, I think that the effect that it gives you is very similar to the Pat McGrath Celestial shades, those baked gelée special shades that she has in her Mothership palettes, but it's not the same formula. Like these are a much softer formula. I feel like those, they pack more of a punch. I don't know if it's because of, you know, that sort of gelée formula. I feel like they're a little bit more pigmented and they perform better when wet. I think with these, it's a softer formula and you really have to go in with the finger if you want to build it up. Like you're not going, and working with a duochrome as well, I think that can be a little bit difficult because you're not only playing with the red, but you're playing with the gold. So when it goes on your eye, it's not gonna look that red. It's gonna look like a mixture of red and gold. So it's not quite as punchy as you might think just looking at it in the pan. Let's go in with a dry brush into this champagne shade and play around with that. This is the only shade we haven't played with yet. Wow, this one is very, very glittery. You guys can kind of see that sheen right there. I'm very partial to these kinds of shades. I'm gonna put this in the inner corner. I feel like these shades swatched a lot smoother than they do applied to the eye personally. I'm now gonna put that same champagne shade on the lower lash line. I'm just not getting anything. Like, I'm not getting anything. Let's try wetting our brush again. I wanna show you guys up close. Hopefully you can see that. When I go in with a wet brush, see how chunky that is? It's very chunky glitter. So I don't think that this is gonna be a super smooth formula when you're putting it on your eyes. I'm wondering if these are meant to be more like toppers. This doesn't seem like the kind of palette where you can do a full look. Like, I'm not gonna use 4 glitter shadows to be my full look. And I'm really having to work with these. I think that these are better applied with the finger. So we're gonna go in right now. Oh yeah. See, it's very, very pretty. Look at that sheen. It's very, very pretty when you go in with the finger. When you go in with the wet brush, it's fine. When you go in with the dry brush, it's awful. And when you go in with your finger, it's stunning, okay? That's kind of my thought here, playing around with these. I think what I would do is I would do your look and then put these on last with your finger, and it's gonna look really, really pretty. I'm just blending around what we did so that it looks a little smoother. I mean, this is what I would do naturally, and then I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like in daylight up a little bit closer. Okay guys, so we're up close now so we can check this out. I'm in front of a big window, and as you can see, look how pretty and shimmery that is. The only thing is, like, look, like I could barely get it along my lower lash line, that champagne shade. And as you can see, like, this eye and this eye, is there that big of a difference between them, right? Like, this obviously is a little bit more redder in tone and this one's a little bit more gold, but we put an orange shadow all along here and it really just looks gold. I think my main gripe here is, like, there's so much fallout. It was kind of hard to work with. And, like, I just don't see the pigmentation, right? Like, this is the problem that I have with a lot of Tom Ford products, the eye products specifically, is that I just don't get that punch. I just don't get that pigmentation. But the end effect here is very soft and beautiful and celestial. So that's what I think. I think that applying them with the finger was definitely the best way to go. And I don't see a ton of pigmentation and difference between all of those shades. And I also got a lot of fallout. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see when I move my head like this, you can see there's like a lot of fallout. So just wanted to like really show you guys so you can see, because this palette is so expensive. And I want you to only spend money on it if you feel like you really need it. Just put on some mascara so I can show you guys the final look. And this is what it looks like on each eye. I know I showed you guys the close-up of what it looks like in daylight, but obviously when you put on mascara, everything kind of gets pulled together. I also put a little more concealer under my eyes to sort of just blend away a bunch of that glitter fallout that we got. And so this is the final look. And now I'm gonna share with you guys all of my final thoughts on this palette. So what do I think of this palette? I do think that, starting off with just the pros, I think that these colors are very beautiful. I think that once you get them on the eye, they do have quite a beautiful sheen. I love this look. Now that I have it done, I do think that it looks beautiful. I think that the duochromes are very soft. They're very user-friendly. So I do think that these are beautiful colors. I also really like the packaging. I think the packaging is super appropriate for holiday. I think that it just gives it a nice, you know, winter holiday, like limited edition effect. I would say my biggest gripe with this palette is just, I think the formula can be a little bit hard to work with. I understand that this is supposed to be like a celestial, glittery, glitzy holiday formula. I do think that you can build a formula like this and make it easy to use with a dry brush, with a wet brush, and with your finger. And I really think that this only worked well when going in with my finger. I think that these are good if you are going to be using them as a topper, or perhaps if you do your full look and then you go in with this at the end and you apply it with your finger. I think it's going to give you a beautiful, stunning, metallic, you know, lava luster kind of effect. And I really do like the way that it looks. I don't think that you can use this palette to really create a full look. I think that you can use more than one color for sure, but I would go in with another type of matte if you want to add in any kind of depth. This is really not going to be able to give you a full look. That's why I'm really interested in trying the other palette that they had as a part of this collection, which I will link down below. And it is unfortunately on back order. So I'm curious to see if that one, because it does have some mattes mixed into it, if that's going to be something that is a little bit more comprehensive. This seems like something that would be a very good companion palette to other Tom Ford palettes or other palettes that you have in your collection, because it really just is like all glitter shades, obviously. I would say the other main qualm that I have with this palette is I just don't feel like these shades are very pigmented at all. Like if you look at the look that I have today, I bet if I ask, you know, my boyfriend if he noticed anything off about my makeup, he would not say that, oh, you have two different colors on each of your eyes. I don't think that it looks that different. I think that when you swatch these shades and when you look at them in the pan, they obviously look different, but when you actually put them on your eyes, they don't look that different, right? You're not gonna get a ton of pigment from these. This is not something that you're gonna be able to build, I think, a super creative look with. So I think that the pigments are very beautiful, but I do think they're a little bit hard to work with. You get a lot of fallout and they don't look that different on the eyes. In addition, I think in terms of like the duochromes that are in this palette, I don't think that they're that special. And I think that for $89, Tom Ford could have provided something that was a little bit different. I don't like that you're getting like an orange and a red, which fine, those are different colors, but both of them have a gold shift. So I'm getting two orange shades with a gold shift. For $89, I think Tom Ford could have been giving us something a little bit different than that. I know that duochromes are they're a bit of a trend right now. We're seeing more mainstream brands incorporating duochromes into their palettes. This is something that has been done by indie brands for years, but we're starting to see Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, and a lot of other more mainstream luxury brands incorporating duochromes into their palettes. But I just don't think that these are that special. Like, I think that they could have given us something better here. They are very beautiful, but there's just like not enough differentiation in this palette to me personally. I think that with Tom Ford, he really is catering to a different type of audience that wants something that is a little bit softer, you know, a little bit, not everything has to be super pigmented. I totally get that, but I do just want to mention it in case you're somebody that is hoping that this would be something very pigmented. I think it's very different than, let's say, a Pat McGrath shadow or Natasha Denona shadow, where you're just going to get a lot more pop with those colors. So similar to a lot of his other palettes, I think for this, he's trying to go for something that is super user-friendly, very wearable, and not too pigmented. I think a lot of folks that are buying Tom Ford palettes, they're not necessarily looking to create these big, opulent, like deep looks that are super creative. I think they want something that's easy to use, that's gonna, you know, blend really well, gonna be effortless and very wearable, and they're only gonna have to use maybe one to four shades, obviously. But I think my major qualm here is that it wasn't that easy to work with this formula. So I do think that it requires a little bit of work to figure out like how to use these. So at the end of the day, I think this would be good if you want something that's just a really beautiful one and done that you can apply with your finger, or something that's gonna be a really good topper or finisher to your look. Finally, do I think that this palette is worth $89? I really don't think that it is. I don't think that you need this. I think that there's other better palettes on the market if you are looking for something that is kind of glittery and more celestial. Personally, I think that if you're a Tom Ford collector, you won't be too disappointed by this. I think it'll be a great, like I said, companion palette to other Tom Ford palettes. I just don't think for $89, this is the most magnificent glittery palette that I've ever seen. I think that I would have, as I mentioned, liked a little bit more differentiation and a little bit more pigmentation from this. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed that review. If you don't agree with me, or if you do agree with me, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Are you planning on picking this up? Have you tried it out already? I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. It's totally fine if we don't agree. I'd love to hear from you guys, or if you have any tips on how to best apply these eyeshadows, like definitely educate me. I'm a beauty enthusiast, but I'm not a makeup artist, so I'd love to hear from all of you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel, and it helps me know what kind of content you guys like. I am going to be reviewing the other quad in this collection, so please stay tuned for that. As soon as I get it, probably sometime in January, they estimated, I'm going to be posting that review. That quad looks stunning as well. And if you are new here, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to hear about all the times that I post. I'm going to be having a lot of wonderful beauty reviews coming out, including more Tom Ford, more luxury makeup. So please stick around. I would love to have you. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Sophia Sees Beauty. I will put my handle right here so you guys can find me. I post a lot of like mini makeup reviews and follow-ups, telling you guys how I like all of the products that I try, along with product announcements, product sales that are going on. We have a lot of fun over there. So definitely follow me on Instagram. I would love to have you. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season with your friends and family, and I will see you guys in my next one. Goodbye.